Welcome to Women's Sports Weekly, where women's sports happen every day, but we talk about it once a week. I'm Danielle.
And I'm Carolyn. Women's Sports Weekly is a podcast where we discuss the latest news, explore interesting stories, and share our love for women's sports. Follow us on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok at WomensSportsWeeklyPod. Follow us and rate us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Send us an email at WomensSportsWeeklyPod@gmail.com, and we may feature your email on the Les. We are releasing on Thursdays. Our first Thursday. How does it feel?
Good. Different. This first week feels weird because we're going to release 2 days late, technically, and then we'll be on a weekly cadence, so it'll be great.
Yes. So if you're wondering where we were on Tuesday, just know that we're going to be with you every Thursday moving forward.
Also on Thursdays, we host Run Club at the 99ers Sports Bar. We've been having a lot of fun and a great group comes each week. So join us on Thursday at the 99ers Sports Bar. We meet up at 6 p.m. and go out for a 3-mile run, come back, drink some beers, and just enjoy each other's company. Each week, we have a secret word that you can share with the bartenders. After the run, you will get 50% off your first draft. This week, the word is overtime.
Overtime, because man, do we have a game that went into overtime this week that we need to talk about. But before we do that, I just need to say that last week at Run Club, Danielle did a shoey. She drank beer out of her shoe because she had a PR in her last marathon and didn't do it directly after the marathon, so she had to do it at Run Club. And I proposed a new rule that anyone who completes any kind of PR needs to then come to Run Club and do a shoey. And I hope that doesn't have us lose people who come to Run Club, but people actually come with an idea that maybe they'll get to see someone drink a beer out of their shoe.
Oh boy, I apologize to everyone. I physically couldn't drink a beer directly after my marathon a few Sundays ago now, and I told you no, and then you peer pressured me doing it at Run Club because you said if I didn't do it, I would never get a PR again, so you know my weakness. But I had some people cheering me on, so yeah, if you have a PR at a race and come to Run Club, you're going to be doing a shoey with us.
Don't tell me because you're drinking right out of that shoe. All right, let's get into the highlight reel for this week. We need to talk about the PWHL playoffs.
Yes. Oh my goodness. As a reminder, we talked about this last week that Montreal Victoire got to choose their opponent for these playoffs between the 3 or 4 seed. And they picked the 3 seed, the Ottawa Charge. And the Ottawa Charge has really been giving them a run for their money.
For sure. The Charge won their first game 3-2. And then we go into the second game, which happened this past Sunday on Mother's Day. And it looked like Montreal was on their way to winning in regulation 2-0. They were up 2-0 headed into the third period. Ottawa came charging back.
Nice.
Get it? And scored twice in the third period to tie it up. So then we go into overtime. And overtime in hockey is golden goal. So once you score, the game is over. But nobody scored for 3 entire overtimes. A whole other hockey game was played.
And they said this was the longest game in PWHL history.
It was definitely the longest game in PWHL history. We did learn that NHL and overall pro have some really long ones in there. But very cool to see, very cool to experience. We watched all of regulation. Then we did an interview for the podcast. Then we took our dog out for a walk. Then we came home, and it was the 4th overtime.
On the walk, you had your phone out and you continued to watch this game.
Correct. So we get back. It's the 4th overtime. They've been playing for over 5 hours. And Catherine Dubois for Montreal finally scores.
At that point, it's just survival of the fittest. You're exhausted by that time. Both teams have been skating their butts off for 5 hours. Could you imagine? And all that sweaty hockey gear. Oh, I cannot even fathom that.
Everyone looked tired towards the end. Like shots were going out at, I'm going to say half court, but half rink, whatever it's called. And they were just praying that maybe someone might make a mistake for it to go in.
Yeah.
But Catherine Dubois' goal was sick and Montreal takes it. It's Montreal's first playoff win in history. which is always fun when the league's new and you get to say those things. And they tied up the series 1-1. Ottawa and Montreal played again this past Tuesday, where Ottawa won to make the series 2-1. And as a reminder, this is a best of 5.
Continue to watch this series. It's been fun to watch. Excited to see what happens.
What's going on in lacrosse?
The women's lacrosse tournament has begun, and we are already down to the quarterfinals, also known as the Elite 8. Want to highlight some of the second round games. So the second round games took place this past Sunday, where there were 8 games played, so 16 teams were left. 2 of those 8 games went into double overtime. Unreal. Top-ranked Florida Gators beat Stanford 13-12, and then Penn upset Maryland 11-10, both in double overtime. I did want to talk a little bit about the Penn versus Maryland game because this game was so exciting. This was an upset, so this is a huge win for Penn. Sophomore attack Catherine Berkery scored the game-winning goal in the second overtime. Senior midfielder Anna Brandt started the game off strong for Penn, scoring in the first 50 seconds to set the tone for the game early. She had a total of 3 goals, so she had a hat trick, and also became the first Quaker to score 200 goals in program history.
You know what I'm going to say. UPenn is the Quakers.
Good old Pennsylvania.
Right, but Quakers are like not notoriously known for being incredibly kind and conscientious, and they're going to be the Quakers.
What's wrong with that?
They're a team who's beating people in double overtime. They need to be something a little bit fiercer than a nice Quaker.
Well, the Quakers took the win here. And Anna Brandt also tied the single season goal record with 63 goals on the season. And now she has a chance to beat that record because they are going to move on to the next round. This game was back and forth the entire time. Penn found themselves in a 2-goal hole a few times throughout this game. So Maryland would be up 2 goals quite a bit, but each time Penn was able to come back. They were even down 2 goals with 10 minutes left in regulation, but Anna Brandt, who I just spoke about, cut the lead to 1 with about 3.5 minutes left. Then right as the fourth quarter expired, senior midfielder Gracie Smith set up senior attack Erica Chung for the game-tying goal at 10 to force overtime. Both teams went scoreless in the first overtime, and then halfway through the second overtime, that's when Catherine Berkery scored the game winner to allow Penn to survive and advance. Next up are the quarterfinals, the Elite 8, that will be played today, Thursday, May 15th, starting at noon Eastern. The remaining teams are Duke, Florida, Princeton, North Carolina, Penn, Boston College, Yale, and Northwestern. So we got a few Ivy Leagues in there, just like crushing it in the lacrosse game.
And so many smart schools, minus Florida. Sorry, Florida. Go Quakers. That's what I have to say about that. That's who I'm going for now.
Yeah.
All right. So we have an exciting episode. We have an interview coming up with Betsy Bash from the Colorado Alpenglow, which is the professional women's ultimate frisbee team here in Colorado. So before we get into that, we're going to quickly get into what we're looking forward to this week, and then we'll get into the interview.
Yes, it was a fun interview. Really excited that we got to meet Betsy. Question for you. Have you ever played ultimate?
I don't know if I don't think I have. In college, my friends were super into ultimate frisbee, but I don't think I ever, like, if I did, I went out and threw a frisbee with them once and they were like, never again are you allowed out here. Have you?
I have seen you throwing a frisbee, so I don't blame them.
Listen, I do great at Polish horseshoes because I can let it swing to the right or swing to the left, but I can't throw a frisbee straight.
Yeah. No, I've played. I used to play for fun in high school with friends, like just randomly. And then we would play in gym as well, like learn all the rules. So I'm surprised you didn't play ever.
Not that I remember.
Well, definitely fun. Excited for you all to get to hear Betsy. But yes, what are you looking forward to this week?
The NCAA softball selection show happened this past Sunday. As a reminder, Oklahoma is going for their 5th championship in a row, and they received an automatic bid to get into the NCAA tournament after winning the SEC regular season, because the SEC championship was supposed to happen this past Saturday and it just didn't.
I still don't understand how they didn't make up these games, and Texas A&M and Oklahoma were co-champions. I mean, if I'm a competitor, I'm an athlete, and they just are like, this game is canceled and you're not making up, I would lose my mind.
I agree. So the game was canceled due to weather. I don't know why they didn't play on Sunday. Maybe it was like a Mother's Day thing. Maybe they wanted to do it before the selection on Sunday. I just thought it was super strange. Obviously, Texas A&M has no problem making it into the tournament, and they were actually ranked number 1 overall. But like you said, it really stings for the players, and your conference tournament is so important and so much fun, and to just take that away from the players, I don't really get it. I don't know what was happening behind the scenes, but if you're a competitor, you want to play that game, and it just was taken away.
Yeah. Very interesting and unfortunate.
It didn't stop Texas A&M from getting the number 1 overall seed in the NCAA tournament. Oklahoma got the number 2 overall seed, and the top 16 seeds host for the regionals. Do you want to hear all of them?
Sure.
Okay, so 1 is Texas A&M, 2 is Oklahoma. Let's see how fast I can do this. Number 3 is Florida, number 4, Arkansas, number 5, Florida State, number 6, Texas, number 7, Tennessee, number 8, South Carolina, number 9, UCLA, number 10, LSU, number 11, Clemson, number 12, Texas Tech, number 13, Arizona, number 14, Duke, number 15, Alabama, number 16, Oregon. Can I just say, the top 10, the only teams that are not from the SEC are Florida State and UCLA.
Wow.
That is crazy.
Of the top 10 are SEC.
So this was a really long-winded way of saying that I am looking forward to the regionals for NCAA softball that begin this Friday, May 16th. And something else begins this Friday, May 16th. Danielle, what are you looking forward to?
Yes, the WNBA season kicks off this week, Friday, May 16th. Preseason will be done and regular season games begin. Minnesota Lynx will play the Dallas Wings at 7:30 p.m. Eastern on Ion and League Pass. The LA Sparks will take on the Golden State Valkyries at 10 p.m. Eastern, again on Ion and League Pass. I am so excited for the WNBA season.
It's here. I can't wait for all the physicality to continue to see who's actually going to be good. And we're going to be talking WNBA a lot. With that, let's get into this interview with Betsy Bash from the Colorado Alpenglow, who are Colorado's professional women's ultimate frisbee team. Betsy Bash is the founder and team manager of the Colorado Alpenglow. The Alpenglow are part of the Western Ultimate League, which is a professional ultimate frisbee league in the U.S. The Alpenglow were founded in 2022 and won the Western Ultimate League Championship in 2024. The team plays this weekend at home on Sunday, May 18th at 12 p.m. Mountain Time against the San Diego Super Bloom. We are so excited to have Betsy here today with us. Welcome.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited about our talk today.
We would love to start with a little information about you, how you got involved in Ultimate, and what made you decide to start a team here in Colorado.
You got it. So I came to the sport like lots of other older Ultimate athletes did, is retirement from another sport. So I played softball in college, was definitely looking for something else to do, something else to take up my time. And my brother actually said that I should join a league and start to get to know people. I started playing, absolutely loved it, loved the people. It reminded me a lot of like full court press and basketball. And so I know how to do that. I know how to play defense. And I had a lot of really encouraging people that said, just run around after people, the throwing will come later. And I think that's what we tell a lot of athletes that come to the sport, especially if they're coming from like cross country or soccer. But I'm so excited that the sport has grown big enough that we have lots of people that are coming through college. They played in high school. We just had high school states in Colorado actually this last weekend. And so people are coming to the sport younger and younger. As far as wanting to start a professional team here, I started my professional career in Arizona with the Arizona Sidewinders. I lived there for 10 years. That was the crew that taught me how to play. I had really positive experiences to that. And I was frustrated that we didn't have the same opportunities here in Colorado. We have incredible athletes. We have some incredible teams. And we really needed to come together as a community to make this happen. This is definitely not the work that I did. It was the work of 3 other founders and really a community coming behind and saying, yes, we want a professional team here. So that was kind of how we started. We sent in an application to the WL and 32 pages later, here we are.
I've heard so many times, well, maybe now twice, people refer to Ultimate in the basketball sense. So can you expand on that a little bit? Because I think when people hear that, they're going to be like, well, it's outside. How does it relate? Can you just talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. Sometimes we make a joke that when people ask what Ultimate is, we say not golf and not Quidditch. So people just immediately go from one to the other. These are 18 completely different things. Ultimate is played on basically the same size as a football field or a soccer field. A soccer field is kind of half the width and the same length. But we have an end zone like football instead of soccer. And the way that you advance the disc across the field is by passing it to your teammates. And once you have the disc, you can't run with the disc. So what that means is you have to catch it in the end zone for a score. You can't run into the end zone for the score. I think as far as movement goes, it looks a lot like soccer, except there's more freedom. There's no backfield space or forward space. You can move all over the field that you want to. And then with basketball, some people even dribble, where they're passing it back and forth to each other really quickly to advance it down the field. And then obviously you're trying to pass it to your teammates, but then there's 7 other people on the field that are trying to take that disc away from you. And I think the other piece is too that I always have to correct is you can't tear the disc out of someone else's hand. So we pride ourselves actually on being a non-contact sport. And one of the tenets of the game is spirit of the game. So that's written into the bylaws of our founding sport. That means that Carolyn, if you had a better play than I did on the disc, that's my responsibility to say, no, that's Carolyn's disc. Just because it ended up in my hand, you actually had the better play. So integrity is supposed to be part of the game then for us. It's a mix of a lot of different kinds of things in that way, with some good sportsmanship kind of sprinkled in there officially.
Yeah, I love that. We've been learning more about rugby, and that's such a big part of rugby as well, that integrity of how they speak to even the referee and things like that. So that's really cool to learn. So thanks for sharing that.
Absolutely.
So the Western Ultimate League was founded in 2020. Can you tell us what makes the league special?
Well, first of all, who starts a sports league in 2020? So that's the first thing that makes the Western Ultimate League very special. It was a group of people that came together that said female matching and non-binary people should have opportunities to play at the very highest level. Male matching teams have been professional for 10 years now, and we've seen the way male matching ultimate has continued to grow, and we know that we can do this, and we know that our female matching players and our non-binary players deserve this opportunity. So it was a group of people coming together and saying, how can we make this happen? And seriously, just putting their nose to the grindstone and hey, you've got a great conglomeration in your city. I've got a great conglomeration in my city, working together with male matching teams to, hey, can I use this field space? Hey, can we have tryouts, etching little pieces so we could have our own space? In fact, our first campaign for the Western Ultimate League was Claim Your Space. The idea that female matching athletes, non-binary athletes, have this space, deserve this space to play professionally, and to claim that space in that to be able to have those opportunities. There is another league on the other side of the country called the Premier Ultimate League. Right now, as a fledgling professional league, transportation is expensive. So it's definitely one of our biggest expenses. Any flight, rental car, hotel companies out there that are listening to this right now that would love to sponsor us, we would love to have this conversation with you. That would be fantastic. But really navigating that. And so having these teams in the western part of the United States helps cuts down on transportation costs for us right now as we're still growing as a league.
How are you getting around now? Like, how did you get to Arizona this past weekend, just so people can get an idea?
Yeah, so everybody flew. Every now and then there's a few people that drive to Utah. So we do that. And honestly, right now, travel with politics and passports and IDs is tricky for us, and really thinking about the safety of our players and the safety of our staff and making sure all of our players that travel to games can come back to our homes safely. So that's a piece as well that we're trying to navigate and help protect all of our players and make sure they're all safe to play and safe to come home as well. But we fly almost all of the time that we can.
Wow. Okay, that's good to know. Unfortunately, we've been hearing more and more of our non-binary friends having some trouble with TSA at airports. So not fun, and I hope it gets better.
I hope so too.
The Alpenglow started in 2022. What do you want the future of the team to look like? What do you want the future of Ultimate to look like in this league? What is your ideal vision within the next 5 years or so?
I definitely have some kind of strange things that I would really like for this. We believe really strongly that Colorado is a state team. We're not a Denver team. We don't even want to be a front range team. We really do want to be a statewide team. I know that there are incredible Ultimate athletes out there that are in Durango, that are in Vail, that are in other parts of the state, that I would love for us to be a true statewide team and really be able to support athletes from across the state and be able to accurately and appropriately represent all the areas of our state as well. One of our other tenets of our mission and values is about youth as well. We're really thinking about making sure that we're partnering with lots of youth organizations. Representation is so important for kids to be able to see a female matching a non-binary person play professional sports and be like, oh my gosh, I had no idea that I could do that, is one of the most powerful tools that we have in being professional athletes and having that privilege to have that exposure in what we do. And just be able to take advantage of unique opportunities sometimes too. Like we've had some conversations with the Southern Ute Reservation. I would love to bring Ultimate out to those kiddos, allow them to see that kind of representation. I really want to see Ultimate as a viable sport for lots of different kinds of people who are maybe struggling to find community in an athletic way and grow it. I would love to make sure that all of our athletes are well taken care of. Obviously, all of us have full-time jobs. None of us are making money to barely even cover the season, but we're trying our best. But I would love to honor the work all of our athletes are putting into being the best athlete that they can be, as well as it having national recognition of like, these are the kinds of athletes that we have in our country and the kinds of people that we support. So I don't know, maybe that's kind of vague, but I really think about that from that perspective.
I love that.
Earlier, you mentioned when athletes come, you'll learn to throw later. So obviously you're getting athletes coming from a lot of different sports. You played softball. What are some of the things that make an athlete successful in this sport, knowing they're starting later in life?
That's a wonderful question. And I would say the answer is field sense. So really having an idea of spacing about how to navigate the field. That's why for me, like a full court press really made a lot of sense. And it's really interesting too, because you can see the difference between basketball players and soccer players when they first come into Ultimate. Soccer players are like, I just got to follow this person. If I just follow this person around, I'm going to do a great job. And that person's not going to catch the disc. Whereas basketball players, and that's a very successful way to start out playing defense, absolutely. And basketball players tend to take a step off of their player and kind of try to see the whole field and see what happens. I think the next piece is reading how the disc flies. So one of the jokes that we always make as Ultimate players is learning how to read the way that the disc rotates, learning how to read the way the disc is impacted by wind and other atmospheric conditions. That's always a real challenge for teams when they come to Colorado and they're not used to throwing at altitude. The disc does different things in air with no humidity and air with humidity. So that's another piece. But then the joke that we always make is get that person a library card because they need to learn how to read. So that's one of the things that you can always throw out at any ultimate game and will get you lots of laughs for sure. So I think field sense is the biggest piece because sometimes when you have good field sense, it means that sometimes, ooh, I found myself in the right place at the right time. And then the other piece is like, ooh, look, this just came right to me and I'm just going to go get the D. Certainly there's some incredible athletes that we just tell, why don't you just run down the field and I'm just going to go get you the disc. Like that's how we're going to do that. You can just catch it, but I'll make sure I get you the disc.
So does the Frisbee go farther in places in higher altitude, like a baseball?
Yes, it does. And then in humid, it tends to sit longer too. So you're like, when is this disc going to come down? You know, like I'm still waiting here for it. And then obviously we have wind here. It gets windy here. And other parts of the country aren't always used to that kind of wind. And even at our stadium, so we play at the Pinnacle Athletic Complex in Thornton, right off 25. So it's a wonderful complex. And being by the highway gives us some interesting wind sometimes. So we sometimes have a crosswind, and you don't usually get that. Sometimes it's up and down wind. So the crosswind makes things more interesting sometimes.
So we ask this of every person we interview. Do you have a favorite athlete in women's sports?
Oh, gosh. What a wonderful question. I tend to think about this in a different way because I came to Ultimate later in life. I remember learning how to play and saying, I know I'm faster than this person, but they are kicking the crap out of me. Like they are running me all up and down the field. And I remember asking, how can I be like you? Like, I have no idea what you just did. So I know this isn't a crowd favorite, but I think of Sarah Youngblood, Laura Dews, Lexi Polderman, like the women that taught me how to play and absolutely ran the field up and down on me. That I was like, if I want to be good at this game, I really have to step up my game. And the other piece that was really important about them is I remember them kicking the crap out of me and then finding out that they were 45 years old. And being like, well, I have some work to do, you know? And I am so, so grateful for them not taking it easy on me. I'm grateful for their willingness to teach me about what I needed to learn. And I am so grateful that I had the opportunity to see female matching people that were older. So I knew that there was a future for me in the sport. I think so many times we tend to like, well, you're only good as an athlete during this small window of time. And if you missed it, well, too bad. And I'm not sure that's always like the great message to have. And so I'm super grateful that I got to have those opportunities. So maybe I'm not a crowd favorite, but I exist because they existed and they allowed me to exist at the same time.
Yeah, I love that answer. I think getting to play with the people who you look up to and idolize is like the coolest thing ever. And I think you're the first person who's named people that they've interacted with. So that's really wonderful. So thank you. And thanks for naming those players so we can get to know them and do some research.
How can people support Alpenglow? Where can they buy tickets? And where can we get an Alpenglow hat? Because
I love
they're so cool.
100%. I actually left it downstairs. I had a hat like I was going to pull up for you right now. So great news. You can do everything through our website, coloradoalpenglow.com. We've got ticket sales on there. We've got a link to our store with our jersey sponsor, Breakmark. So you can definitely get those hats there. The color block ones are super great. Also, really importantly, our game on Sunday against the Super Bloom is the two last undefeated teams in the league. Both Colorado and San Diego are 5-0, and they're coming here to Colorado to play. And this is our last game before championship weekend, which we both qualified for championship weekend. So this game is huge. If you missed all the other Ultimate games, if you've never seen Ultimate before, this is the game to go to. You've got two undefeated teams with athletes that want to win this game. San Diego definitely wants to prove that they don't care about the elevation. They don't care about any of those things. They don't care that it's a home game. They want to come into championship weekend as an undefeated team. Interesting fact, San Diego, even though they've been to championship weekend every single weekend since the league started, they've never won. And in our second year of the league, we won the championship. So Sunday is, I don't want to oversell this. That's not true. I do want to sell this appropriately. I think it's going to be more exciting than championship weekend. This is a super exciting game. Weird stuff happens during high-level games. You know this. You've seen it. Teams come out of nowhere and have an incredible game. Teams totally kind of crumble under the pressure. This is going to be an awesome game on Sunday.
Oh my gosh. Everyone needs to go to the Alpenglow game this Sunday at 12 o'clock Mountain Time against the San Diego Super Bloom. And again, you can find tickets at coloradoalpenglow.com. Is that what you said?
You got it. Yep.
Okay.
Kids are free. We have discounts for students. Come out and play. We get face painters. We've got food trucks. We've got a big grass hill that kids like to play on. Come out and cheer your hearts out for the Colorado Alpenglow. Take on San Diego Super Bloom.
I love it.
Good luck. That's amazing.
I know.
It's a big game. Yeah. Plus it's at noon too. So you can go do stuff afterwards. You can get your workout in beforehand and still make it to the game. After party is actually at Prost Brewing on 104.
Ooh.
And everything that you order when you say that you're with Alpenglow, 20% comes back to us as a team. So we would love to see you there. Definitely come and cheer us on and then celebrate with us afterwards.
That's wonderful. Thank you, Betsy, for joining us. That wraps up our interview today. Be sure to follow the Colorado Alpenglow on all of the things and get out to a game, especially this Sunday. That is it for this week. We will see you next week on Women's Sports Weekly. In the meantime, watch women's sports, rate and subscribe to the pod on Spotify, Apple, and YouTube, and share the podcast with your friends. Thanks for joining us.